Welcome back to the channel. We have another WNBA video for you guys today. It is Sunday, September 8th. I've got 5 picks that I want to break down with you guys today that we're going to go over and analyze. So let's get right into it. We're not going to waste any time today. First pick I'm going to be looking at is Bridget Carlton of the Minnesota Lynx. Her points over 9.5. We can catch this right now on FanDuel for minus 128. Now, if we look at her in her last 5, she is hitting this at a 60% clip, 3 out of her last 5 attempts. But if we look at this outlier insight, she has hit in 8 of her last 10 games against defenses in the bottom 5, 4 points allowed. Like I said, hitting at an 8 out of 10 rate for 80%. If we look at Washington against forwards for points allowed, they sit at just 8th. So you got to like this one here for Bridget Carlton. She is known to get hot from the perimeter. She's got an excellent jump shot, man. So I like her chances here against Washington with their poor perimeter defense. Like I said, man, hitting this at an 80% rate in 8 of her last 10 against bottom 5 defenses for points allowed. You got to like it, man. Bridget Carlton over 9.5 points. I'm going to be looking at Jackie Young, her points under 13.5. Now, if we look at this insight from Outlier for this one, she has failed to exceed this 13.5 point mark in 5 of her last 6 games on the road for an 83% hit rate to that under. Now, if we look at her in her last 5, she is smacking that at a 60% rate 3 out of 5 games. We can push it back just a little bit further. She's hitting 6 out of her last 10 for a 60% rate as well. Now, the Liberty against guards, their points allowed just 3rd, man. They sit at 3rd, so not a lot of points given up to that guard position from this New York Liberty team. Jackie Young has not played as well, like we saw from before the Olympic break. She has had her ups and downs, as you can see right here. More green on the chart. There is definitely some ups and downs, right? I like the odds here, man. We can find this at minus 102 on FanDuel. That under 13.5. I think it's a good look. And then next up, I'm going to be looking at Kelsey Mitchell. Her points over 20.5. We can get this on FanDuel for minus 114. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, man, she's exceeded this number in 8 of her last 9 games, hitting at an 89% rate. She has just been on fire. This is the month of August into September. That one game coming under at just 18 points, right? So she's like pretty damn near close to that 20.5. Like I said, hitting that in 8 of her last 9. We can look at her in her last 5. It's an 80% hit rate, right? Look at her in her last 10. It's an 80% hit rate. Look at her in her last 20. It's a 65% hit rate. Like, she's just been scoring, man. Like, this is what she does. 20.5 feels a little low. Look, Atlanta does have a decent defense, right? But if we look at them against guards for points allowed, they do rank just 8th. So I like our chances here with Kelsey Mitchell. We can get this at minus 114. Over 20.5. We just need her to hit 21. I like it, man. I like it a lot. We're going to be looking at Rakia Jackson of the Sparks. Her 3-pointers under 1.5. We can get this on FanDuel. It's a little juice at minus 158, but it definitely looks like a good look, guys. In her last 5 games, look, she had a spell where she was hot, right, coming out of the break, but she has cooled off. She has hit under this mark in her last 3, only hitting 1 3 entirely in her last 3 games. We can push this back to her last 10. She's only hitting at a 70% rate. There's 4 games in there where she doesn't hit in a 3. There's only 3 where she hits 1. So yeah, 7 out of that last 10 she is smacking under this number. But it's like a boom or bust with her, right? We're either hitting 1 or less, or we're like really eclipsing this number at 3, 6, and 4. So definitely something we got to keep in mind with her. She can definitely heat up at a given's notice, right? But I mean, we look at her on the year, man. It just like it's green across the board. Her last 20, we're hitting at a 65% rate. But like I said, it's just kind of boom or bust, right? Like we got a lot of peaks up here and then a lot of valleys. There's a lot of zeros, right? And we look at her head to head against this against this Connecticut Sun team on the year. She has definitely been well under this number. No 3-pointers made so far in the 2 games against the Connecticut Sun. Look at the Sun. The three-pointers defense allowed, the three-pointers made against them. Man, they are first overall in the league, first against guards, first against forwards. Kia Jackson is sitting at that forward position, so it explains why this number is juiced like this at minus 158. But out of all the picks today, it's why it's juiced. It looks the best, man. It's definitely a nice parlay piece. One that you could just play straight because, it's juiced, right? But the numbers are here, man, to where a profit is a profit. So why not just play this as a straight bet? It's how I feel too. We're going to be looking at Alyssa Thomas, her points and rebounds and assists over 26.5. We can also catch this, what do you know, on FanDuel, minus 106 odds, man. You got to love it. If you look at her head to head against the Sparks, it's an 80% hit rate, hitting 4 out of her last 5 attempts. If we look at this insight from Outlier, she has exceeded this 26.5 points, rebounds, and assist marks in 5 of her last 6 games versus bottom 5 defenses for assists allowed. She's actually averaging 28.3 points, rebounds, and assists in that game, hitting this at a 83% hit rate 5 out of her last 6 games. Guys, look, if we look over here against, the Sparks, against centers for points allowed, rebounds allowed, and assists allowed, they rank dead last in every single category. Every single category. And Alyssa Thomas is like that Draymond Green, just Swiss Army knife of the WNBA, man. She's a triple double threat, second in the league in assists per game. But like I said, just a triple double threat every time she steps on the court. She can score. She can score in transition. Has a nice low post game. Excellent on the glass. Excellent defender. Excellent distributor. Not as a forward, but we see her play at that center position often. We got Dewana Bonner, at the 3, Brianna Jones at the 4. And Alyssa Thomas is residing at that 5, but she is actually like a point center. She'll bring the ball up the court and act as the ball facilitator on the offensive end. And then, sprint down the other end. She's down there right by the basket playing post defense. She's a unicorn in the WNBA, man. If there is one, that's she's one of those players that just can kind of beat you a lot of different ways. So that is going to do it for another episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did and you found it helpful or useful in any kind of way, please do not forget to smash that like button down below.